Welcome to this explainer. Today we're tackling a modern epidemic. You sit down, you really want to focus, maybe get some deep work done, or just relax with a good book, and boom, suddenly you're lost in an endless sea of short videos. It happens to all of us. So we're going to dive right into why it feels so incredibly hard to focus these days. We'll be breaking down this totally fascinating recent scientific analysis shared by science YouTuber Joss Fong in a BBC Global interview. Let's figure out how to actually reclaim our lost focus.
Let's start right here with a shared anxiety I think pretty much all of us feel. Like, why can't we just read a book anymore? It's such a frustrating everyday reality. Most of us really struggle to just sit down and watch a regular 2-hour movie or read a single chapter of a novel without instinctively reaching for our phones to swipe through vertical videos. We want to focus, we fully intend to, but man, that gravitational pull to our screens is just so intensely strong.
Okay, so this brings us to a concept you've probably seen floating around: brain rot. It's that colloquial, everyday term we throw around to describe that sluggish, completely unfocused feeling you get after binging low-quality, algorithmic content on apps like TikTok, Twitter, or Reddit. But here's the thing. It's kind of not just a funny internet meme anymore. The term implies a real, tangible impact on our minds, and it perfectly grounds our everyday fears into exactly what scientists and researchers are now actively trying to study.
Which leads us to the absolute most critical question. Is our modern environment just, full of new distractions? Or are these algorithmic feeds fundamentally changing our brains? As Joss Fong noted in her deep dive, people genuinely feel like they used to be able to do things, like read whole books, and now they physically can't. That implies something way deeper than just being distracted, right? It implies a real neurological change. So she went looking for the hard science to figure out, are we permanently damaging our minds here?
Section 1. The Science of the Swipe.
So, moving past our own personal anecdotal fears, let's look directly at randomized scientific studies that measure actual cognitive deficits. We want the experimental data here to see what's really happening inside our heads. And the methodology researchers use to isolate the immediate effects of scrolling is honestly wonderfully simple, but highly effective. It goes like this. Step 1. Participants take a baseline cognitive test. Step 2, they spend just 10 to 30 minutes scrolling through TikTok, Twitter, or YouTube, really short amount of time. And Step 3, they redo that exact same test to measure any changes in their performance.
Now, what happens after just that brief scrolling session is pretty wild. The results are actually striking. Even a tiny 10-minute exposure to these feeds demonstrably weakens specific cognitive skills. It actually impacts your ability to pause and reflect. It hurts your ability to critically evaluate the information you're looking at. And remarkably, it damages your perspective memory. That's basically your ability to remember to do an intended action later on, like picking up the dry cleaning or just remembering to turn off the lights when you leave a room. But wait. Here is the ultimate aha moment of the research. Researchers tested what happens if you take those exact same short videos, the cute dogs, the cats, the dances, and just string them together in a long montage for people to watch. The result? 0 cognitive deficit was observed. None. The main culprit isn't the length of the video or even the content itself. The deficit literally only appears when participants are physically swiping and scrolling through the feed.
So why is the physical swipe so dangerous for our focus? Well, because the swiping interface is fundamentally designed to force rapid judgments. When you scroll, you're constantly making split-second decisions. Do I like this? Is it worth my time? Next. This interactive design literally shifts your brain into a faster-acting, compulsive, and far less reflective state. You basically get to skip anything that might even slightly bore you, which turns your media experience into this highly concentrated, relentless unit of entertainment that just completely hijacks your cognitive flow.
Section 2. Is your brain broken?
Having seen that data on how fast the swipe degrades our cognitive skills, it is incredibly easy to slip into a spiral of existential dread. I get it. A lot of us worry our attention spans are ruined forever. But the answer to permanent brain rot? 0. There is absolutely 0 scientific evidence to suggest we've permanently damaged our ability to think clearly. As Joss Fong points out, it's way too early in the scientific process to make any claims about permanent damage. Your brain is not broken, and you aren't doomed for eternity to forget your meetings. That being said, we don't really need a peer-reviewed scientific paper to evaluate our own lives, right? Even without permanent brain damage, the human experience speaks volumes here. We all know that awful feeling of looking at the clock and realizing we just spent 3 hours scrolling. You kind of feel grossed out by yourself.
We hardly remember a single video we just watched, yet the time is completely gone, and that regret is incredibly real.
Section 3. The Monkey and the Trumpet. So, if our brains aren't broken, why is it still so impossibly hard to put the phone down? To explain why sheer willpower usually fails against our devices, Joss Fong uses this incredible metaphor. She says our phones are like a monkey playing a trumpet. Just picture that in your head for a second. If you're sitting in a room really trying to read a dense novel and there's a literal monkey right next to you blaring on a trumpet, well, of course you can't focus. It's an absurd, hilarious, but deeply accurate representation of what these devices are actually doing to our immediate environment.
So the massive relief here is just this. Your attention span isn't fundamentally broken. The true barrier to your focus is simply your constant proximity to the trumpet. You're just carrying this loud, obnoxious monkey around with you in your pocket everywhere you go. Think about it. If you move the monkey into another room for 3 days, you'd suddenly find yourself perfectly capable of reading that book again.
Section 4. Reclaiming your lost focus. All right, now that we understand the science of the swipe, the lack of permanent damage, and the whole reality of the monkey with the trumpet, it is time to actually reclaim our attention using science-backed strategies. Let's compare how most people try to fix this versus what actually works. Setting time limits, like telling yourself, okay, I'm only going to scroll for 15 minutes today, is a terrible strategy. Willpower depletes, and the algorithm is literally designed to make you lose track of time. The highly effective, science-backed method is establishing what we call domain boundaries. This means creating strict physical or situational rules for yourself, like, I only ever scroll while I'm walking on the treadmill.
Let's walk through exactly how to build these effective domains so you can still enjoy a quick laugh online without getting totally trapped. First off, stop relying on the clock or timers. Just throw them out. Second, choose highly specific physical locations or mundane activities, like Fong mentions, using the treadmill or tying it to mundane daily routines. Third, and this is the golden rule, never ever open the feed outside of these designated physical zones. Finally, you just have to embrace the FOMO, the fear of missing out. Acknowledge that, yeah, you might miss a few trends, but recognize that feeling as a sign of success. It means you are reclaiming your focus. And I really want to add a final touch of validating empathy here. Even the researchers who are analyzing this data and educational creators like Joss Fong who literally make their living on these platforms, they struggle with this every single day. These algorithms are absolutely irresistible by design. It's an ongoing battle for everyone. So if you find this difficult, please know you are absolutely not alone in this fight against the swipe.
Which leaves us with one final lingering question to think about as we wrap up this explainer. You know the science now. You know the swipe hijacks your cognitive flow. You know your brain isn't broken, but your environment is just really loud. So look around your life and ask yourself, where are you going to put your monkey today? Set your domain boundaries, leave the trumpet in the other room, and go reclaim your focus. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. I'll catch you next time.